Hey everybody, Professor Steins here. And today I'm kind of going to talk a little bit about jQuery. I brought it up in the course that it's okay if students want to use jQuery to kind of solve the JavaScript requirements we have in the class. And really, I kind of sold it to the video conferencing that, jQuery does make your life a whole lot easier and working with stuff really easy. So this is just kind of a little rotator I threw together real quick that just kind of rotates different pictures in jQuery. It's pretty neat. I can kind of flip back and forth between pictures, kind of click it really fast. Should only be one at a time. Hopefully I might have to bump the frame rate up on this video to kind of make sure it's seen. What I did is I kind of started with some pictures that I liked, and I kind of came out to here and looked at the details of them. And so you can kind of see there's a couple of them that are kind of big. This one's actually over a meg. If you don't really, well, I was really kind of particular about some of the things I chose, and dimensions was one of those. So I kind of turn off this tags one. Is that all these images are 1920 by 1080, which means they're all the exact same size. I probably should have optimized them a little more, but really just kind of wanted to demonstrate some jQuery. So this is the jQuery I already have written and kind of what I wanted to do. So I'm going to kind of start fresh with a new one. And so without it, this is kind of what we look like. We still got our next and previous up here. We have different images, 6 of them total. They're all kind of in a line. This is kind of my slider. This is the section that kind of defines that. So what I have is HTML images. It's a div, kind of give it a class of my slide. These are next and previous. And our unordered list of images contained in li tags. There's some CSS in here, not a whole lot really, to be honest. Most of it is just kind of working on the next and previous slides and buttons and kind of making sure that those are 50% and kind of hover over them and make a color. This is kind of the only thing I really do to that UL section, those LIs where those images are stored. I do have a rule up here of image max width of 100%. This makes sure that the images don't really go larger than my window, so they're all kind of self-contained. It's kind of one of the reasons I chose 1024 by 768. I just kind of pulled, or 1920 by the reason I chose the images I did is because they were background images of all the same size that I kind of rotate through on my background. Kind of see I have a halo reach one kind of back there somewhere. So, long story short, not a lot of CSS that went into it, just mostly JavaScript. So, this is going to be my intro to jQuery. Just kind of walk us through how to get started. I should have already come out to the website, and this is the jQuery website. Click on download jQuery. You'll get a text file. And so I've kind of organized my little website with an images folder to hold the images I want to rotate with, a source folder to kind of hold my different files. So that's my kind of my jQuery file. HTML page. I have my script includes down here at the bottom, pointing to jQuery and my site.js file. So the first thing I want to do is I kind of want to just test and make sure that jQuery is working, and that's going to be with our handy dandy hello world statement. And so what this guy does is when the document gets loaded, when the document is ready, we're going to execute a function, and right now we're just going to throw up an alert that says hello, just to make sure that we are good to go. Let's see, I might have to put that rule back in. There we go. So it means our jQuery is working, which is good. Let's see, let's look at the images. One of the good things about jQuery is it kind of allows us to make queries into the page for things using this kind of short nomenclature, $, with 2 parentheses and 2 which columns, apostrophes to kind of separate out the information. So if I kind of look in my document, I have a class called mySlide, And this guy is really going to be kind of the hook that I use to refer to elements that are inside of it. So I'm going to start with calling up my slide, which would refer to that div, but I'm going to say that all the li statements inside of them, those are the statements that hold the images, these guys, all the li's that exist inside of my slider, should hide. And so I kind of save that, run it. Got no images. It's a good first start. But I do kind of want one to show, so I'm going to go out and find the first one. So I'm going to find the first one and show it. I should kind of get my Dragonborn picture back. It's pretty neat. Which is does pretty well. I could kind of also say that if I wanted to hold a variable called I and give it a number, then I could kind of come in and say I need to find specific ones. You know, these are the certain ones I want to show. Instead of the first one, maybe I want to show the ith one. And so do that. It's not too bad. That would be EQ I. That will kind of use the what this guy kind of does is returns an array here of the different li statements. And so the I is going to be the index of which li we're kind of looking at. So if we kind of do it right, we should get the same picture. But if we change it to a different index of that li statement, we'll get a different picture. So that's pretty neat. It's kind of a good first start. Now we can kind of define a methodology, at least, for kind of rotating images. So I could kind of say I might use these guys a lot and say function slide image, slide the images, or slide image. It doesn't really matter. Kind of free to call things your own deal. So call it slide image, and up here I would say slide image of I. So I should still get 2, but I can kind of put in a different number. The important thing is that it's kind of working each time. So that's kind of good. Let's see, now that I have a way to kind of slide images based on an index, and I kind of have an index set where I can kind of find which one I want to show, I kind of want to make sure I'm choosing a good one. So what I might do is kind of define a variable called count, and what count is going to do is refer to the total my slides, or my slide li's that exist. That would be dot length. And really I would kind of subtract 1 from that. It kind of depends. I'm really looking at using the index. This is kind of going to be the last index of the index of the last item in the array turned by this. So really count might not be a good one to use. Maybe I'll use something called last I, and that will refer to the last index of basically the last image that we can use. The reason being is that we're going to kind of start working in this little nav section, make it so that we can kind of click back and forth between images. And if I look in my image folder, let me see, look at it. The idea here is that I'm going to have a 0 to kind of refer to the first one, and we're going to kind of define this as an array on the fly. So this guy would be kind of the first one, and so this would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But what happens when we hit the 5 and we want to get the next image? We're going to want to kind of go back to the first one, 0. Likewise, if we're on 0 and we want the previous image, we really want to kind of come back to the last index. So that's kind of my rationale for that statement. I could use count, could use some other things, but I'm going to call it last I for last index. So now that I have that value, I'm going to write a statement to work on a click. is in the nav section. If I kind of look at my HTML, I have two classes in here. One for a class that both of them share called myNav, and then a class that is kind of makes them unique, previous and next. So I'm going to kind of capture when this class kind of gets clicked, which is kind of really this A tag inside of it. It's kind of what I really want. I could do myNav and do the whole div, but I think I'm just going to do the A tag and say when one of these A tags gets clicked inside of one of these sections, I click. I want to execute a function. And I'm just going to kind of alert out the what's called this. It's kind of referring to this as object and the classes that kind of belong to it. I don't think I need a parenthesis, but we'll see. I think I need it. Pretty sure I did. Yep. Alert this. Let's just say HTML for right now. Make sure it's getting back when I think it's getting back. Previous, next. And I could check for it that way. I really want to kind of see what classes are on it. I know that it's there. Let's see, I'm going to kind of change our click function to include a parameter of E. It's kind of optional, but now that I have it, it'll refer to the event that's occurring, the click event that's occurring. One of the things I'm going to set real quick is prevent default to kind of see if you up here in the top, the little hashtag guy is kind of there. No, I won't do that. Let's see, class must not be right. Anyway, what I'm looking for, I'm kind of wanting to display it out to show it to you, but really I know what I'm kind of looking for already, and that's if this is really where I'm going with it, if this has class, that has class, yeah, this that has class. I'm pretty sure it's some notepad's throwing me off. Usually it has it auto highlighted, but this one's not. It's got me worried. So let's see if we can make it do it this way. Hello. Alright, so if I'm clicking the next button, then I'm showing hello. If I'm clicking the other button, I'm alerting out world. Let's see. World, hello. Next. What am I doing? This doesn't have class. I think what's getting me is I don't want to do the A's, I want to do that one. In that case, I still need to stop the A tag. World, hello. Still need to stop that. Well, it's not doing it now. I guess I'll be alright. Guess I don't really need it. Let's see. World. I guess I did need it. See how it keeps coming back? I guess by doing that, it's kind of going down to the A tags. Just kind of have to experiment. Hello world, that's good. So if I'm going to the next one, I'm going to most of the time be adding 1 to it. But I do need to check in the case in which the I will be equal to the last index. Because if it is equal to the last index, then I want to kind of set I back to 0, else I'll be wanting to kind of add I to it. And kind of once that happens, once either or of those happen, I'll kind of want to do the slider. But since I kind of want to also do something similar in this part of the else statement when I'm going previous, I'm going to want to check in the case in which it's 0 and kind of set it to the last one in that case. I'm going to just kind of put our slide image function down here. That way we can kind of just check and see if we're working pretty good. So I hit next, 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 next. I should be able to keep kind of going through the pictures, get back to them. It looks like it's going through them pretty good. World on the previous one, which is good. So if we're going forward, that's how we handle it. But if we're going back, we're going to want to check the case in which I will be triple equal to 0. And if that is the case, then we don't have negative images, so we're going to set it to equal the last I. Else I minus minus. There's kind of lots of ways to write these statements. It's kind of a lot of lines just for one kind of if statement. If I was kind of writing this for real and not trying to explain it a little bit, I would probably kind of write it out this way. It'd be a heck of a lot more condensed. I can kind of see what's going on a little bit better, and really it's just kind of a technique that, the more you code, you kind of build your own style. This is kind of, I guess, a little bit of my own style. So, if all goes according to plan this time, I'll have to be able to keep going backwards and go forwards. So that's pretty neat. It's not too bad. Let's see. We've done all that madness. One last thing I think we could probably do pretty easy that's worth trying out is something that's actually not technically jQuery. We're going to set an interval function, and we'll kind of do the same thing a little bit later in the semester when we talk about images. What set interval is going to do is it's going to execute a function every certain amount of time. So kind of like every 3 seconds I'm going to execute a function. That's kind of what this set interval command is doing. The function is going to be slide image. That's what I'm going to do. But we also kind of have to keep in account the same option that happens here, is that if we're kind of equal to the last I, if I is equal to the last one, the last I, I'm going to kind of write it all in one, I guess. If I is equal to the last I, then we'll want to set I back to 0. And then slide image based on I. So hopefully, I say that, but then maybe it's not working. I guess that interval is not working. Let's see if I can troubleshoot it a little bit. Oh, well, didn't put an else statement on there. What am I thinking about? I plus plus. Alright, take 2. Let's see if we rotate this time. Sweet. Cool. I got the basic functionality we're going for in the beginning. One other thing I did add just a little bit of transition in there. You can kind of throw those into these guys. So if I throw a slow transition, that's kind of how I got it to be like that. It's pretty neat. Anyway, there's a lot of neat things that you can do with show and hide and different types of effects that you can apply to those as well. I'm just kind of using some of the easy ones that kind of set. You can kind of throw a lot of different options into it. You can even use it. We started without it. Slow. You can actually kind of define your own little animation function with it. Kind of doesn't actually work. I was kind of expecting it to actually work. But you can kind of define your own little specialized animation deal for it. Kind of show or hide maybe a GIF that's like kind of an auto GIF or something. Slow it down or speed it up. And it's kind of essentially what we're doing with the little image rotator, is that we're just kind of doing stuff. This one's probably doing yes, really slow. Anyway, hope you found it interesting. Hope it kind of gets you an idea of what jQuery does and kind of how you can use it to make your life easier, especially in iTech 3280. So if you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one. Bye.